Hey, everybody, welcome back to the End in Mind podcast. I'm your host, Caitlin, and I'm super excited to introduce you all to Sydney. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to talk with you.
It's going to be a blast. We're already gabbing our way through the pre interview, so I can't wait to dive into some of these topics. Can you first off just tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Yes, so I own a digital marketing agency. Right now, it is currently self-titled Sydney Jones VA. As my team grows, I have a feeling that's probably going to change. So it's not so, self-conceited in myself. But right now, it is Sydney Jones VA, and we work with clients local here in Kentucky, where I'm located, also remotely across the country. And we've had a few international, which has been fun. So within that, we do email marketing, we do social media strategy and management, and then we also do some light website design, as well as some other like one-off tasks when needed, like creating stuff for printed materials or um, like ads and things like that. They're not really our main offerings, but we do have that as well.
That's great. Yeah, I feel like as we expand as digital marketers, it's good to kind of add like an a la carte menu.
Yes,
You
I
know,
agree.
even if it's just like small little add-ons, I feel like clients always need that. And it's better that they just do it through us. Like if you're already working with the agency rather than having to get like somebody else,
A
or the
hundred
client.
percent. And I feel like I have this thing in me where I just want to be a sponge and I want to learn as much as possible. I think it's a strength and maybe a weakness because it's like how much is realistic, But so a lot of stuff I like to when I'm offered it, I'll tell a client, I've never done this before, but at a discounted rate, we can work together and like see if it goes. And then most of the time, if I really like it, I try to add it in as a one-off service or a project-based service or something like that.
Such a great model. That's what I really would love to dive into next, like for the listeners, because we do have a lot of digital marketing agency owners or like people that are looking to get into digital marketing. That's obviously what I'm into.
Yes.
They wonder, like, what do you do if you don't have the knowledge? It's like that imposter syndrome is so intense. I think when you first start selling yourself, what would be your advice? I love the discount tip. Like, if you're trying something new, what's your other go-tos for projects like that?
Yeah, I think, okay, I'll have a couple things that my mind wandered to. So, first, I've been there. I feel like sometimes I'm still there with imposter syndrome. Like, I think comparison, it's a very, repeated statement, but I think it's because it's true. Comparison's the thief of joy. So, sometimes you'll see someone in, the same age as you or the same field, and it can be like, oh my gosh, we're at totally different points in our lives or careers or whatever. And, I think that can sometimes give that imposter syndrome a bit more, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So, I feel like with that, one is like trusting in yourself. I think if you're really showing up and like having those soft skills as well as trying to learn the hard skills if you don't have them yet, you're probably doing better than you think. I feel like we're our own worst critics there. And then I also think if you don't know it, most of the time, at least in my experience, just being honest about that and telling a client, I haven't had much experience in that. But I would love to, learn in it and grow in it, and then just taking that upon yourself. And I also think it kind of depends on your learning style. For me, I'm very hands-on and a visual learner, so I feel like I learn the most by throwing myself into stuff like that.
Totally. Great tips. It's like with the transparency when it comes to marketing or working in marketing, I think so many people haven't taken that approach. So when you take the transparency of like, hey, this is new for me, clients find that super refreshing too.
I think so too, because I also think I've heard, and I feel like everybody has, you've heard of someone that's maybe someone would describe them as, not as credible, like they're a little salesy with how they present themselves, which isn't a bad thing, to a degree, I guess, if that's how you want to structure your business. But I think for me, um, I would never want that to be my reputation. I would never want someone to say, yeah, she sells herself, but she can't hold up what she's offering, like verbally. So, I think that was a big thing for me when I got started. I was like, I don't want, um, some kind of like tarnish on my name because of me over exaggerating what I'm capable of.
Yeah, yeah, because it can get like snowball too. I think with digital marketing the most, like especially now with AI and like all these other questions that clients have. I've also found in our industries that people use different language, like their
Yeah.
rhetoric. They think that they're talking about one thing. I've had people hire us that think that they want organic social media. We'll get through like a month of working with them. And then they'll say, oh, I wanted paid ads. And I'm like, wait, but that's not what we do. Like, we literally don't even offer that service in house. Like, we'll bring in partners. So I always find that that's one of the hurdles too, being in digital marketing, especially when you're working with a client that has maybe never tried this route before and it's like new for them. How do you
Mhm.
approach that? Do you feel like you set a lot of conversations up to like get to the depths of their understanding?
Yes, so I'll be honest, I think when I first started, I didn't do that as much. And I think it's all been on a learning curve because it's like exactly like how you described it. It's like you'll have an experience come up where it's like, oh, next time I'll know, maybe to mention that in our discovery call or in our strategy or, so I think there's definitely been moments like that. I think I try to be as clear as I can on those calls, as well as like, I read somewhere recently and it was saying that like you don't want to talk to someone like they should be an expert in your field. So you and make them feel like stupid. And it said it like, which is such a brutal way of saying it, but that's how it worded it. And I was like, that's such a good point. Like, it would be like if I went to the mechanic because I'm not a car girly and they start throwing out all this stuff, I'm just gonna be like, yeah, sounds good, you know? So I try to like not do it in a way that's, um like diminishing what they know or like comes off like I don't think they know anything or any because it's not that. It's just if they're not in that world, they might not know the terms.
Yeah, that has happened to me so many times. Like over the years, I'll be like, and this data, and like now we're looking at your website clicks, or like they're like, where'd you even find that? And they're like, what the fuck?
Yes,
Like
they're like, what does
this
this
is
mean?
so they're like, literally, what is going on? Like, this is so strange. I don't know what a bar graph is. Like, bless their hearts. I feel so bad for these business owners. I totally threw them to the wolves. And they're like, this is all new. And a lot of those clients, I ended up like fracturing the relationships, because they were so
Absolutely.
confused. Like, I feel so bad. I love you all if you're listening to this
Oh my
episode.
gosh, but it can happen so easily. Like I was talking to someone within the past like few months and I was talking about their like performance analytics on social media.
Yeah.
And I was like, you got this reach and this impressions and they're like, I don't know, like you're gonna have to slow down. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, and that was my bad. I was like, obviously I need to explain that a bit more what really that means, you know?
Yeah. Like, but when we get into marketing, right? Like, a lot of us either went to school for this or like have some sort of background in it. So these terms have just been thrown around like for so many years. You're like desensitized to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's important to like remind ourselves. I had this conversation with a one-to-one client the other week. I was like, you have to remind yourself that this business owner is trusting you with so much information. Like, they probably don't even tell, some don't even tell their like spouses, right? Like, people
Oh
that they
yeah.
sleep in bed next to, like some of the conversations that they're having with us as their internal team. And once you have that level of trust, the last thing you want to do is like diminish, any type of reciprocation or even conversation that you could have because it honestly makes our job a lot harder too if we're not.
It does. It does. And I think it's um such a good point you said about like how close you get with that person, especially if you have like a long duration partnership with somebody. It kind of just happens organically, I feel like.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see. I don't know. I think that's not something you always expect when you begin. Like I didn't expect that to happen, but it's interesting to see like you really form strong connections with these clients if you're doing it in like a sustainable way and in a meaningful way.
Yes. So like some clients are honestly, I've had like since the beginning. And like my very first client is still with us. It's going on 8 years
Oh,
this
that's
year.
awesome. Me too. Mine's not that long though.
Yay. That's such a good sign too. Like I always share with clients that that's what how long of relationships like we're capable of building, right? As agency
I
owners.
love that.
Because I feel like so many agencies, they're just in it for the numbers, right? Like there's a lot of
Oh, for
agencies
sure.
locally here and they just are on for like the next client. And I'm completely different. I'm like more of a boutique type of service. So people
I
have
love
to
that.
be aligned. What types of industries do you work with? Like, do you work with any types of industries? Like, I would say, we work with anybody and everybody as long as we like each other. Like, that's normally a good outlook. I always say we have to have similar outlooks on life or like be a little bit more holistic, tends to be a Meraki client. the way
I love
they
that.
think about business. So I tend to niche into the mindset. Are you similar or
Absolutely. We work with like a lot of different industries, and they're all very different. So we've worked with like boutiques, we've worked with real estate agents, we work with HVAC, we've worked with business coaches. We work right now we're working with a couple authors, which is cool. It's a new venture. But it's more about me or with our team is like, do we work in a similar way? Do we align with our working styles and personalities? And I guess like outlook, if that makes sense. And not on everything, of course. Like I think it's good to have like a yin and yang, but I feel like there's also sometimes it happens in trial and error, but you can tell if there's like too much yin or too much yang and it's just too much differences. So I've had some clients where I still like love them. I think they've been great and I think they felt the same way. It just wasn't a good match in our working styles.
yeah, I can relate to that a lot. Like when I first started, that was so hard to understand.
Yes, it is. And now it's a bit easier to pick it out. And you tell me if you agree, like from a discovery call than it
Yeah,
was at first.
it's
Yes.
almost like the first for me, I feel like it's like a feeling. Like I have to see them and then I'm like, okay, we're either totally gonna align or we're not, you know?
Yes. No, I totally agree. And I think like we're kind of getting into having I would say like more medium-sized businesses, which is a fun venture for us. But we also have a lot of entrepreneurs and things like that. And I would say that's been our main client so far. And so a lot of them, we men and women, we don't, discriminate, of course, but
Yeah.
we have a lot of women clients. And I think it's also because we kind of have like a very um similar like working style. We get that close bond, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Especially when it's like a one-on-one, like me and one person, and they're running their whole business, you know. Um,
Yeah, I can
yeah,
agree more. And it's like you can just talk about different things, right? That women experience in business too, and
for sure.
really raw. I think it's also nice from like a networking standpoint. A lot of those ladies, like at least in my area, they tend to know each other. So they talk
Yes.
more than like men in business, and they're great referral partners for that reason, you know?
Absolutely. I actually just met with a client this morning before we hopped on here, and she was like, I have a referral coming your way. And I was like, great. And that's been something I've really enjoyed is like most of my clients have came from word of mouth and referrals from current clients or past clients, which has been really cool. Because we've grown, we've been in business like 2.5 years and we've grown quite a bit in that time, which is awesome. So I don't know. I think it's cool to know like not only are people telling you, hey, I think you're doing a good job, but like they think you're doing such a good job, they're referring you, you know?
Yes. Oh my gosh, it's like the best compliment. It's
It
like
really
someone
is.
referring, whoa, you know? And then if your business can grow off of that, and sometimes that alone is what can springboard, a business so
Absolutely.
great. Like over the years, we've even had communities that will bring us in
Oh,
and
that's
they will,
fun.
it's so cool. And they'll like literally have, for example, we joined like an esthetician collective basically.
Ooh,
And I was working with the owner of that community. And then she would have me do like lives for her, live interviews. And it was a great trickle down effect because then I started to get access like all of her clients. And it
I
was such a
love that.
great lead plug, for the company. So for anybody listening, like if you're struggling with leads, one, we've all been there. It's also kind of like a weird time right now. I don't know if anybody else feels that, but I'm just going to throw that out there. It's January 13th, and I feel like it's been a little bit of a slow go, at least for Meraki, amping back into the year. Like normally it's kind of opposite. So just be aware that every business has like a slow season. Sometimes that hits a little bit later than you expect. And maybe it's time to start to reach out and find different like lead generation types of tactics. Like, do you ask your clients for referrals openly or do you just let them come to you?
It's kind of been a mixture. So I have done where I've asked, a lot of them will come naturally, which has been awesome. But I do try to send out maybe like once a year or twice a year. I'll send out if typically if I'm doing twice, I'll only send it to clients that are new since like because I don't want to be spammy, you know. But I don't care to ask at all. Or even just sometimes I even go back to past clients that it ended good on, and maybe it wasn't that we didn't work well together, but like it just wasn't a good time in their business or for whatever reason, they had to pause, and I'll just be like. hey, how are you? Would love to catch up. And I do really mean that. I want to hear what's going on with them, but also it's good to like nurture that a bit.
Yeah.
So I think that's been great. I would say for like when you're going through those slow periods, and I guess this depends on where you're at in your business too, but something I tried to do because I was kind of going through that right before Christmas.
Yeah.
I felt like I was going through probably from like November to I took those 2 weeks off break. I was like really like, oh my gosh, like there's not a lot of new lead generation coming in, which we were steady, but still, it's always wanting to scale. So, I felt like I was like, you know what? We're going to hit the ground running in January, but spend this time to get caught up on, what other parts of your business do you need to work on that you've been thinking about and you've been putting off? Like, this is the time to maybe do that while you have the time. I think, obviously that depends where you're at in your business. That might not always be something you can do, but I think it's nice to try to look on that side too. Like, okay, it's a little slower right now. What are some things I've been wanting to do that I could implement?
Such a good point. I feel like my business is so incredibly aligned with my life. Like it's
Yeah.
almost like before I was sharing with Sydney for the listeners, like Sean had to have his appendix removed. It was this whole thing. I'm like always very open with the listeners about what's going on in my life. So like a lot of time spent in the hospital this year, last year, I should say it's behind us now. But my business was so slow. And like going into December, normally that's like our busy season. I'm sure you're the same way. Like it's like people
Yeah,
want to at least have a conversation before the new year and like set the tone, plant the seeds. It was
absolutely.
crickets. And then I was like, oh, this is why this is happening because I have to be available to take care of him. Um, and
Yes,
I
there's
just like
like a
trust.
timing.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's like instead of like questioning it and making it be this bigger thing, I was like, no, this is happening for a reason.
I
Whatever's
love
coming
that.
will come, and like trusting that your business is almost that signal instead of
Oh my
thinking
gosh.
something with us.
No, I totally agree. I think like that's something I tell my friends sometimes. I'm like, I feel like as long as you're trying, right? And if it's like whatever's supposed to happen is going to happen, and if it's meant for you, it will. And but there's a purpose for it all. I think obviously that's different than like if you're not really trying and it's not working out. But if you're actually putting like your best foot forward and it's still not, there's probably like I feel like some higher purpose that is not happening.
Yeah, like one coach actually, I've worked with a lot of coaches. It's funny that we're talking today that have like pivoted out of digital marketing and not like
Really?
recently, like they did it years ago and they worked as social media managers for years and then like pivoted out of it into coaching. And a few of them had said to me, like, you will definitely do that at some point. I think when you work in social media for so long, also would love to know your opinion on this. I hate it. Like I hate social media and I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? Like I have to like really have a conversation with me, right? And be like, okay, is this the business or is this me that's changing
Right.
and evolving? And I've talked about this on the show over the years too, because we've had this show for about 5 years now. But I started my agency almost 8 years ago now. So it's like
Oh
a
my gosh.
long time to work.
Yes. Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. I'm like, I don't know if that's justified because they may be like pivoting, but I think that
It
that's
still is.
important, right? Like, do you ever feel like with social, do you get to that point where you can just be like, oh, like I'm just like done
Yeah,
with this? Yeah,
absolutely. And you know what I think it is? I feel like, well, one, I think everybody's on social media. Like, even if your career's not in it, like that's what people do for fun in their free time. So it's like when
yeah,
that's your career and you want to check your own during your free time, or, it's like, because it's so like ingrained into our generation.
yeah,
It just feels like you're on it all the time. Like I would hate to know my screen time. I don't look
yeah.
because it stresses me out. And I know it's
Fair.
bad for me. But I feel like that's a part of it is because it's like not only are we working on here, but this is what, a lot of people do when they're not working. So it's like you're just on there double the time. And I also think it's such a fast moving um like area to be in, like it's such a fast like social media is constantly evolving. So you're constantly having to like keep up with everything. And when you're doing it for other people as well as you're having to do it for your own business, I think it's just it can feel a lot of like overrun, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
yeah, so I feel like it definitely happens. I go through phases with it. Like right now, I'll say I'm not on it as much because I've implemented a lot of my team to do the social media and it's helped a lot. But when I was having to be on it myself and, do all of it solely by myself, I felt a lot more drained by it all,
Yeah, it's like recipe for burnout. I think when you get
for
in this
sure.
type of agency model and you're solo, and then
Yeah.
it's a good thing when your business starts to grow, but you start to like resent it because you're like, gosh, this is another 5 hours. Like I gotta be on this person's account a week. Like that sucks. Like
Yeah,
instead of
literally.
being excited, that was really when it started to show for me, which honestly was a few years ago. Then I implemented my team, it got better. And now I'm at this place where I'm like, I just want to do whatever I want to do. Like, I think
Yeah.
entrepreneurs get to that point where you just outgrow something and no one
Mhm.
talks about it openly. Like, a lot of people won't just say, I was burnt out in my business, and like I
No.
ended it. So
Yeah.
I try to be honest when I'm going through these waves because it doesn't mean that you also have to shut your agency down. It's like you can still have it running and work in it when you're ready. But I think that there is like a balance, to what we do.
I think so too. And I think it's like really one refreshing that you can like openly say that, especially because it's not like you're saying it in like a past tense. Like it's not like this is like I was burnt out 2 years ago, so I changed it. You're saying like you still go through that now. I think that's really powerful because I don't think, like you said, a lot of people want to say that front facing.
Yeah.
But I also think, well, let me think for a second. Sorry, I forgot. I lost my train of thought.
No, no worries. Thank you so much. And I can like expand off of that too. I was
Yeah,
talking to
please
my
do.
therapist about this and she was like, you need a sabbatical. She was like, it's really that simple. She's like, you
Yeah.
just need a sabbatical. Like when you work for yourself for so long, you can feel this really immense amount of pressure. Like, I've done a lot of
100%.
personal development work. Like, that's what this podcast is about. Like, I've done the therapy, I've done the healing. We're always healing, but there is this level of sense of self that I'm like, I'm going to be 30 next year. I'm getting married. Is there this part of me that's craving something different? Like whatever that is, whatever that thing is, 100%. Now I just have to
Right.
figure out what that next part is, you
Oh,
know?
I love that. And I think that kind of brought me back to the point I had, but I lost. I think that's really what's beautiful about being your own boss and being an entrepreneur is you can continue to like morph your business into whatever you want, and you can take it different directions than maybe what you thought originally. Like when I first started, I've only been in business about 3 years now. But since starting, I changed my mind constantly about where I want the end goal to be, or quote unquote end goal. Where I want to be in 5 years or whatever. And but that's kind of the beauty of it is like you can constantly do that, and you can also change like what your work days look like, how much you want to work, what you want to give away to other people to do. So it's nice because I hear of my friends who are in 9 to 5s, and I think they love their job. So there's nothing against a 9 to 5, of course, but I know they face burnout sometimes too.
Yeah.
And the sad part is they can't change what they do and they can't change where they're going to work at so it's it's
Yeah.
like a beautiful thing to be able to recognize I'm going through a burnout or I'm not liking what I'm doing, but the great thing is I can change it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how empowering is that? I've worked with a lot of clients that have actually come to me and they're like, okay, I think I want to start a digital marketing agency. Then we go through like what it's going to take, over the next weeks. Then they come back and they're like, actually, I don't want to do that at all. Like, can we talk about something else?
They're
And I'm
like,
like, yeah,
this sounds horrible.
yeah, they're like, this sounds really scary. So, like, maybe we start with like working for an agency, right? And then you start to understand, like, okay, is this something that I like to do, or do I like to work for somebody else? Because I think that everybody's different. Like, obviously, if you're listening to the show, you probably care about business in some way, or you want to learn more about digital marketing, or you're trying to self reflect. That's all we can really do. Like, we can't look externally for the answer
Absolutely.
you know?
No, I totally agree with that. And I think um a beautiful thing about your business, and I know we've kind of already touched on this, but like it is for business people, but it's also that side of finding that alignment or finding that, I know you're big on how things feel in your business too. And I think that's a great mixture personally. Like that's something I definitely want to focus on with me and my team this year in 2026.
Yeah, I feel like when I didn't care what I felt like, which I have done, like last year, I definitely did that too. I put myself in situations that are really uncomfortable, and I feel like I lose touch with my voice. Like I almost like can't speak up because I put myself in these positions, and like now I just have to kind of ride it out, whether it be with a client or like an experience at hand, or sometimes even like in-person events, of where
Yes.
I like signed up for things and I haven't trusted myself. So that's what
Oh
I'm
my gosh.
trying to learn more about next year, and like really just go all in on that, whatever that looks like.
I love that. And I know you're going to do that too. I'm so excited to see what happens. Hopefully we'll have a bit more of that as well. When I first started, I offered admin as well. And I feel like that's something that at the time, if I would have looked at how I felt, I wouldn't have done. Because I've loved clients I've done admin for, but at that same time, I don't think admin is something I enjoy doing. I don't think it's something I honestly do well. I don't think, I like something a bit more creative, and I like the marketing side of it way more. So that's something I'm trying to phase out. But it's something that if from the beginning I would have just said, you know, I don't actually want to do that. I'm offering that so I can get my business up and running.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's not bad, but everything's learning, so I don't necessarily regret it. But I'm glad I've realized it's not something I want long term.
Yeah, that's so good. It's like we all do stuff, I feel like, that we don't want to do. Like how many clients have called me and they're like, "Can you build this?" Or like, "I really just would like you to create this for me." Or like one client that we were talking about before we got on, during the holidays was always like nuts time of year for her. And then I realized I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be in product-based business, like this is really intense. Like I'm great at helping facilitate the strategy, but like maybe I don't want to be working on Black Friday emails at like 2 p.m., 2
Ye-
a.m., like before they're supposed to
Yes.
go out. Like this is a lot. So I don't think I would have known that either, right? Until doing it and like working with
Oh
a
my
product
gosh.
business. So you have to do it to know what you like.
Exactly. No, I totally agree. And I think that also goes into like same with boundaries. Like you kind
Yeah.
of have to you kind of learn that based on your experiences too. Because I've had a client once who I loved, but she was a Pacific time,
Yeah.
and something we had worked on something together. It was approved, and then um, we had both missed something. So it was like 10 p.m. on a Friday night, and she's like, "I have class tomorrow morning. I need this fixed by then." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" And her class was, I think it was like 7 a.m. her time, so it was 10 a.m. mine. But I was like, "Oh my God!" Like it's like stuff like that where you have to kind of learn. I don't know, like what you want to be okay with. Also, it was a mistake, so it was like something that needed fixed. But like the boundaries of all that. And I feel like some of it's stuff you don't even think about until you're in the situation.
100%. Like I've had to tell myself endless amount of times, like I'm not doing brain surgery, like in social media, because poor clients, right? Like this is their business. I get
Oh,
it.
for
It's
sure.
their baby, right? Like
Yes.
you never want to sever any trust. But like if one mistake is missed, it's not like everybody's gonna like zoom in,
On that one mistake, I
and harp on
100%
it.
agree.
Yeah, like I think some people they get so in their heads about it, right? And
For
like that
sure.
can create a really toxic type of relationship for like people in our positions.
Yes.
And they don't mean it, right? Like if you've
No,
ever done
not at
that, like
all.
so have I. Like I've totally like
Yes.
destroyed my team at one point and I'm like, I need to calm down. Like this is social media, chill out, like take a
No,
chill pill.
absolutely.
But it's a challenge, right, to like work through that mindset too, of like, okay, I'm not doing brain surgery, like this
Yeah, I
is
love that. I'm actually going to be stealing that from you.
good. Yeah, I tell my team that too. I'm like, listen, it's all okay. Like I would never say that to the client
No,
obviously,
no.
but I will use terms like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for telling me about that. I will get back to that the second that I have time, which is at this exact hour tomorrow morning.
Yes.
And
Oh,
like
yeah,
this is
that's
when you
perfect.
expect it, like more of that transparency. That way they're
Right.
not just like reeling behind their phone, like to check my
Like
email,
waiting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Reloading their Gmail like every 5 seconds, like I do too. So yeah,
Absolutely. It's something I think we all fall like into that cycle or into that hole of like fixating on one thing or just especially when it's yours and you've built it. Like, because I feel like I feel that with mine. When I brought my first member on, I was so scared to like release any control because, and I've never been like a control freak, but it's like I've built this all by myself over the last like year and a half, and it's scary to now like put it in someone else's hands and also trust in yourself enough to like guide them to do it correctly or be, a good boss. It's a whole new genre of business.
Yeah, like saying the right thing. Like with team members, I have totally said the wrong thing,
Same.
or like I could have delivered the feedback in a much nicer manner. Or at times I would send them like a nasty client email, right? Because I wasn't thinking, I was like, this is the feedback that we got. Instead of being like, hey, love you. She has this little edit. It's not that big of a deal. Disregard the email. Don't even look at it. How about here's what
I
she
love that.
said. Like, let's just get it done. This is about getting it done efficiently more than like, worrying about the client. And now my team members are so seasoned with the clients. They're like, they know exactly what they want, they know exactly how to communicate.
Oh,
And that just
good.
happens with time. Yeah. Like they get so used to them. They're like, oh,
Just the best.
yeah, it's so much easier. Now I totally trust them with specific clients, right? That have been with us for years. It's like they got that. I don't
Yes. Oh my
worry.
gosh, I love that. Well,
It's
I feel like I've gotten that way a little bit with some
good.
clients, so that's good. I think we're still growing. So, but I love what you said about being like, don't even look at the email. I'm gonna also steal that from you. I think that's a great way because sometimes that stuff, I mean, even with me, that makes me so anxious when you see like a
Oh,
horrible, something come in, like a message or whatever. Um,
ruined my day. Ruined
yeah.
my day.
Literally. So it's good to instead of like passing that anxiety on to the team member,
Yeah.
just being like, let me tell you what it is. Don't worry about it. I love that.
Yeah. I'm like, I will take the crash out. You can beautifully go on with your day. You poor person. I'm like, I actually see myself, and this is funny because my fiance used to work in company culture. This is why I think I see myself like this, like a filter for my team. Like I protect them,
Oh yeah.
because
That's what I was gonna say. You're like the protector.
yeah, you have to, right? Like clients can
Absolutely.
just sometimes it's also like when it's your brand and you get passed off, right? And the client can feel like, oh, like I can just say whatever I want to this person. And they don't
Yeah,
mean it again. Like they're just being raw, right? Some people have like different ways of
absolutely.
giving feedback. I don't think they're intentionally trying to hurt someone. Hopefully not.
I
At
agree. No, I
least.
agree. I think most of it does 100% come down to like personality and you might
Yeah.
have someone that's a little more meek and sometimes I think you'll have a client that's even scared to tell you, if
Yes.
they don't like something
Totally
and then sometimes you'll have the more blunt client and I always try to approach it like honestly, I appreciate the honesty. So like I
yeah.
appreciate you coming to me with it and we'll work on it as long as it's like actually you know, actual like critical. It's
Yeah.
like not just critiques, but it's like constructive criticism.
Yes, exactly. Like there is always like a certain client. It's funny because when you work in creative, everybody has a different eye. Like every client likes something different. Some clients are stuck on their same colors that they've had for 25 years, like it all just depends on the business owner. And
For
even though
sure.
you have ideas, right? And you're like, this will work so well. Sometimes they still resist it because it's either
Oh,
new
100%.
or different. And I always found that really challenging because then sometimes they'll come back and they'll be like, well, this didn't work well. And it's like, well, I tried to tell you that I think we should go in this direction, right?
Oh
And
my
how to
gosh.
navigate relationships like that too. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of
It
like,
is. I'm not glad, but it's good to know that's a universal, digital marketing experience because there's definitely been things like that where it's like I feel like this other option is going to be better for your business. And then finding that balance between like gently pushing towards that but not overrunning, or trying to push too assertively.
yes, exactly. It's almost like the gentle one trick for this, actually, which is kind of like a persuasion tactic, but I mean this like not in a bad way because it will help you in the future.
Oh my gosh, give me all the tips.
Like you plant, and like for the listeners too, you can plant the seeds with clients. Let me repeat that. You can plant the seeds with clients like ahead of time. Like think about it. That's why we always plan marketing out like months ahead of time.
Right.
and I'll just warm them up to the idea. Sometimes I do this with my fiance too, like don't judge. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, they think it's their idea. And when they think it's their idea, they love it, you know? So you have to
Yeah.
like warm it up, like plant the seed. So, for example, with marketing, it could be something like I had a client that was doing like an ice cream sandwich and they wanted to do it with a croissant. And I was like, I really think doing it with a sugar cookie is a really good idea. And if you just keep repeating that, like, ooh, doesn't that sound good with a sugar cookie? Or like, I would love to try a sugar cookie with this type of ice cream, right? Like, you just keep kind of saying it every time you see them. And then all of a sudden they'll be like, oh my gosh, I had this idea to do an ice cream
Oh my
sandwich with a
gosh.
sugar cookie. It's really funny. And you'll start to notice, like, we studied this in college. So it's kind of like a persuasion tactic, but it does really help clients and it will help them be more successful too. Cause, like, we as marketers know most of the time what their clientele wants.
Yeah, absolutely. That. I will be feeling that.
Yay.
It's
I'm so
amazing.
glad.
Yes, no, I think that's incredible. And I'll have to tell you, I'll have to report back to you if there's any success stories with that.
Please do. I'm excited to hear about it. Well, thank you so much, Sydney. Can you tell us how to get in touch with you, how we can all follow you, and stay up to date with all of your upcoming business adventures?
Absolutely. So, I have Instagram is probably the best way to find me. It's just Sydney Jones VA. Um, she is on a little break right now, but we are about to come back and be posting. It's one of my big goals for 2026. So, please connect with me there. And I also have a link tree in my bio there, which has all different ways to connect with me. There's a way to book, a 30-minute meeting if for free if you just want to meet and talk and see if we're a good fit to maybe potentially work together. And there's also an email, so you can email me as well.
Great. Yay. Thank you so much for all of our listeners. Definitely connect with Sydney and check out her new post coming out this year. It's going to be very exciting. Feel free to click the link in the show notes below. And if you have any issues, just DM me and I will connect you with Sydney personally. Thank you so much. This was so great.
Thank you.